and barking at something.
All right, sounds good. But hey, anyway, hey, welcome to Tripp Smokepit. I'm Tripp. You guys know me. This is buddy Josh Brooks. He wrote a short story called Black Flags Rising, and I don't even know, like, I got it in Fragments of America. Like, I don't know, like I have the dumb today. But anyway, Josh, how are you doing today?
Good. How are you doing? Yeah.
I'm not doing too bad. Although I always feel like an asshole asking that. So it's like, we've been bullshitting for like 5 minutes. So it's like, oh, so anyway, now, how you doing, man? But yeah, no, I read Black Flags Rising. Sorry, I'm fucking dumb mouth right now. What I think I like the most about it though was like wasn't dumbed down for civilians. It's like, oh hey, you don't know what a cat team is? Well, have fun fucking Googling that shit. I'm not gonna spend I'm not gonna waste a paragraph explaining to you what all this shit means.
No, yeah, there's no it slows down the story when you do that, I think. When you spend a whole bunch of time on exposition explaining something. Like there's probably I want to say in the rough draft of that, when we went through and we started cutting things, because it was originally novella length, it was about 40,000 words.
Yeah.
And then we went through and cut about 13,000 words out. And there was a few times where I had done that, and it was just like, well, I could just get rid of that because it doesn't really do anything except make it so the reader doesn't have to Google something.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I feel the same way. Like, I think my first book was about twice as long as it was, but then like when I was going back through it, I'm like, okay, I already said that the last fucking paragraph, and I'm saying it differently. That can skew it.
It's a messy process, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that and like sometimes though you'll read a book and some dumb asshole will be like, and then he grabbed the M16, which is a lightweight magazine-fed, gas-powered, shoulder-fired weapon. It's like, dude, I don't know if you're trying to sound cool, but you're not, and you're just wasting my time by making me fucking read that shit.
Yeah. And there's some instances where it makes sense to do it, like because that's my book, for those that aren't in the know, it's in the post-apocalyptic fiction genre, and there's a lot of other writers in that space that do a lot of really crazy stuff with like bioweapons, and they'll like go super in depth on the science behind making a nerve agent. It's actually really cool to read that shit when you read it, because it's like, wow, yeah, I'm learning something while I'm reading the story.
I mean, sometimes though, because like if you've ever read Hunt for the Red October, I felt like I could both repair and operate a Russian nuclear submarine, and it's like, this book could have been half the length, man. I don't need to know where the fucking buttons are on the command console.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. They make it interesting the way they do it sometimes. They don't go like super in depth and like explain what like a macrophage is, but they'll talk about the process of how they're working on some sort of nerve agent or whatever. And it just makes it more scary, when you're reading it.
Yeah. I also loved how there's a character named Jerry Micklick in it. And I was like, wait a minute, is this spelled the same? Okay, so it's not spelled quite the same, so he's probably not going to sue you, but I know what you did. I saw what you fucking did. That and like one character is like fucking around on their phone, and they go to Funker. It's like, oh, one of the Facebook pages they follow, and I was like, shameless self-promotion.
Hey man, you got to do it when you can.
You do. I laughed. I thought it was funny. Yeah. Dude, are we allowed to talk about that? Like, I don't know if you're opposed to like spoiling shit for people who haven't read your stuff.
Well, I mean, if they want to read it, then just spoiler alert, I guess.
Okay, all right, yeah. No, but I did like how it ended up pretty much just being the fucking Alamo, but in a nuclear power plant in fucking Detroit.
Yeah, that was kind of hard to write. So there was a bit of, when I got to those final scenes where it was just like I crammed a whole bunch of action together.
Yeah.
I actually had to like work a little bit to make the ebb and flow of that work, because the thing about combat in war is it's fucking hectic and you don't know what's happening from second to second, like 90% of the time. Like, there's a fog of war. So I was trying to sort of induce that on the reader by cutting the point of views very quickly and then jumping back and then cutting to someone else, and then I had never seen anyone do it quite the way I did it, so I wasn't sure if it was going to work, but from the reviews it apparently worked. So
yeah, I haven't gotten to writing a review for it yet. Like, I finished reading it like 2 hours ago, but I mean,
it's a quick read. It's only like probably a 3-4 hour read, right?
Yeah.
I mean, for anyone that actually reads more than one book a year, is probably a pretty quick read.
Yeah. Yeah, no, because I was saying like, yeah, dude, I'll have it read by the time you're on here. And then this morning I woke up, I was like, fuck, I forgot to read that. No, but I liked it. I really liked was it Malone? The Sergeant from Cat?
The National Guard guy was Malone.
Yeah. I liked him, and then the Chinese guy. Is that pronounced Zhang?
Yeah, Zhang.
Zhang, yeah.
Yeah, I stole that name from a buddy of mine that I went to elementary and middle school with. His parents owned like a Chinese restaurant, so it's like, you know what? I'm gonna steal this guy's name and use it. I hope he doesn't mind. I'll pretty much every name I ever use in anything I write is stolen from someone that I know.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, it's also a lot easier to just like instead of just like making a whole new character, just be like, okay, well, this is Bill. I know Bill. I'm just gonna change his last name so it's like not the same guy, but then I'm gonna imagine what he would do in this situation.
Yeah, well, I just pretty much because names are really hard. Actually, when it's something people don't think about when you're writing fiction, names are hard, right?
Yeah.
Because you get into this thing, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, well, I have a character named Jeremy, I have a character named Josh, I have a character named John, I have a character named George, and you don't realize it until you're going back through, and you're like, all of these characters have a hard j sound at the beginning of their name.
Yeah.
That's going to confuse the fuck out of the reader. I can swear, right? We're allowed to swear on this?
Oh, yeah, no, you can say whatever the fuck you want. I don't give a shit. Yeah, no, I had the same problem in the first draft of my first book. I had two characters. They were both other characters' girlfriends, but one was Jenny, but spelled with a G, like Ginny. And then the other one was Gina. And then when I was done and going through it again, I was like, that's literally like one letter off. No.
Yeah, it's something people don't think about though, and I think it's probably one of the reasons you have to start thinking about when you're story planning. You should be doing that, but that was my first time ever diving into fiction, so there was like this much story planning done before I actually just sat down and started writing.
No, that's the way to do it. It's just like literally just like take a shit all over some paper, and then afterwards be like, all right, let's polish this turd into something I can use. No, but like with the names though, I kind of made fun of that. In my second book, the one of the main characters is Corman, and they get combat replacements halfway through the book, and both of the junior corpsmen that show up have the exact same like first and last name as the original corpsmen. So it's like, fuck, okay, well, you're Doc Red and you're Doc 2. And then like
you're Mr. Pink, you're Mr. Yellow.
And then, like, for the rest of the time that those guys were in the story, you know, I had the main corpsman just like pissed off about it because they'd be like, "Hey, Doc Evans, where you at?" And then it's like, which Doc Evans? There's fucking 3 of us.
It's like when you have that Smith in boot camp, right?
Yeah, like all 3 of them.
Fat Smith, come here. Little Smith, come here.
Dude, I shit you not. When I was in boot camp, like our fat dude in our platoon, little short Mexican dude, I swear to God, his last name was Grande. It was like, I was like, did I go to like pranked instead of boot camp? Because that's what this seems like.
After I got back from my first deployment to Iraq, we got a boot drop, and I shit you not, there was a kid named Boots in the boot drop. And like, that is the unluckiest name you could ever have coming to an infantry unit. If your name is Boots,
Yeah,
like you're done. You're never gonna live that down. You're always gonna be a boot because your name is Boots.
Well, I mean, the other one though too is like I've known a couple guys whose last name was Marine, and it sucks when you're like a junior Marine, but like when you're a Warrant Officer 4, it's like, hey, it's fucking Warrant Officer fucking Marine over there. Show some fucking respect. I don't know anything about the guy, but he's got a cool name.
Private Marine versus Gunny Marine.
Yeah. Or there was another dude. His last name was Major. And he was a sergeant, so he'd call people like, "Hey, this is Sergeant Major. I need blah blah blah, whatever." And they'd be like, "Okay, sure, we'll get it for you." And then like, you know, nobody could call him out for Sergeant Major because that's his actual fucking name. It's not my fault you were confused.
That would probably be the coolest name to have as a sergeant, is just because everyone's yeah, Sergeant Major, and they're not calling you Sergeant Major. They're saying your rank and then your name.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah. Oh, now I'm dying. Got the COVID, got the COVID-19. That was the truly unfortunate thing is we released that anthology, with all of those authors like the week before COVID started.
Oh, that sucks.
And you know, all of a sudden when the apocalypse starts happening, people don't want to read post-apocalyptic fiction anymore.
It's kind of weird how that works.
Right. So we suffered a little bit from that, but it's been doing all right for the most part since then. But that was one of those things you just can't plan for. It's like, I didn't mean to write a nonfiction story, guys. Sorry.
No, I had something similar going on because I was kind of like starting to dip in like sales and ratings and shit. And I was like, all right, so there's a podunk ass fucking newspaper around here. I'm going to go see if they just want to write a story about me for the fuck of it. And I didn't think they would, but they did. I mean, I got front page like right under fucking COVID. Like the week all the quarantine shit started fucking happening. And then like 5 people that I knew were like, oh my God, you're the newspaper, blah, blah, whatever. And then like nothing the fuck else happened. I was like, God damn it, dude. If this would have happened like last summer, that'd have been fucking great.
What are you in like small town USA, or are you somewhere big?
So the it's not a village, but I think technically it's a village. There's like 200 people that live here, and then about 20 minutes, half an hour away is like a town that has like I don't know, fucking 15,000 people maybe. There's a Walmart and a Target.
So basically, yeah, you're small town USA.
Yeah.
I live in Salt Lake City, so it's like there's no way I'd get into the newspaper for publishing something. You know, we got race riots happening downtown. No one gives a shit about that.
There are black people in Utah?
Yes. Yes, there are actually, and there's a ton of Hispanic people.
Really? Yeah, I thought the like with the whole Mormon thing, they'd be like, yeah, no, I'm good.
There's it's actually surprisingly diverse here, even with all the Mormon stuff. Well, because I don't know how versed you are in the Mormon Church, but they're actually like heavily involved in Hawaii, and
in what?
In the state of Hawaii.
Oh, okay.
The church is like heavily, like the Polynesian Culture Center is owned by the Mormon Church.
I did not know that.
And I think they have a college that's attached to the Polynesian Culture Center that the students that go to the college work at the Polynesian Culture Center, and it pays for their college. So it's like a program for them to get free college. But that's all funded by the Mormon Church. So there's a ton of Polynesian people here from like Samoa and like all these crazy places, like all the Pacific Islands.
Yeah.
There's a ton of those people here too. It's like, I just thought it'd be a bunch of like old ritzy white people in their magic pajamas.
Huh. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know too much about the church itself. I know a little bit about the religion, and that's because the book I'm working on now, I don't want to get too spoilery with it, but the enemy in it is the army. But it's post-apocalyptic, whatever. But I figured that Utah would be the only people that could form a state.
Have you read Black Autumn? The book that. So if you get the chance, read Black Autumn. It's the book that my short story. It's like the canonical universe that my short story happens in.
Okay.
So like if you read Black Autumn, it explains the events that cause the stuff in my short story to happen. And one of it takes place here in Salt Lake City. And because like when COVID started, you think panic buying was bad where you are. It was nuts here.
COVID wasn't really that bad here. It was just like, all right, so you can't go to a restaurant for like a month.
Yeah, the panic buying was like 300% higher in the state of Utah than anywhere else, because the Mormons it's a prepper's religion.
Yeah.
I'm not a Mormon, for full disclosure. I've learned a lot about it since.
Well, I mean, you said fuck a few times. I'm pretty sure that qualifies you.
Well, I've learned a ton about the religion since being here, and it's like they're a very prepper-oriented religion. It's like it's in their holy texts or something like that. They have to have a year's supply of food and water on hand at all times. It's crazy. Like they're very, very preppery. So like if there's one group that will for sure survive the end of the world, it's the fucking Mormon Church.
Yeah, no, but what I was going to say is like it's been kind of interesting because I'm trying to write this like invading army, coming in, and like the main characters are like insurgents against it because they're in the Sierra Nevada and Utah is branching out. But it's like, all right, so I'm trying to write these occupying troops that are all super fucking nice. It's like I kind of feel bad about shooting this guy, man. He brought me bread yesterday.
Yeah, definitely. I would put Black Autumn, and specifically there's another story that was written on there. It's called Conquistadors.
Okay.
So the way the main writers, Jeff Kirkham and Jason Ross, are doing everything is they're doing everything in phases. So phase one is Black Autumn, and then they did, I think, 4 books. First Air Force One, Conquistadors, and there's 2 other ones, and then there's Fragments of America, which is the anthology.
Yeah.
And then the next set is set to come out, I think, within like the next 6 months or so. I don't really know the for sure dates, but it's called White Wasteland, and it's the winter following the Black Autumn events. So, but it's all Conquistadors is about the basically a Mexican army coming up and attacking. So, well, not Mexican army, like a cartel, basically.
Yeah. Have you ever seen what is it, Tremors 4?
Oh God. And Tremors movie after the second one was awful.
So there was
one. Tremors 4, the one where they were in Antarctica?
No, it was the one where they were in the Wild West, like back in the 1800s, and they're doing the big like build up scene before the main or before the last battle, and this Mexican dude's like, you know, putting this position up, and he's like, man, this is gonna be just like the Alamo, and some dude's like, we lost the Alamo, and the Mexican guy looks up and goes, no, we didn't. Yeah. So like these things are gonna be like a yearly thing ish then.
I think Black Autumn came out in 2018, and then they wrote all of the other interlinking stories over the course of the last 2 years, and then we just put Fragments out in March. And I think the main hiccup has been kind of waiting for all of this craziness to die down, because I don't know if you've noticed, but like book sales are just kind of in the shitter right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I mean, everyone's too busy reading their fucking Facebook and their Reddit news feeds, getting all hyped up and angry about whatever the flavor of the night anger thing is.
Yeah. Although I have noticed though that since like have you seen the war chest thing I do?
Yeah, I've seen that.
So
I thought about buying one, but I don't have room. Room just yet.
Yeah, well, I got you on that. But what is it? So I started doing that like late last year, and when I started doing that, people stopped buying my books from like somewhere where you could buy them, and just have been buying these instead. So it's kind of weird because technically I'm making more money, but don't have as much book sales.
Right. That's weird.
Yeah.
That's really weird.
Yeah. But I mean, it's like, hey, dude, I got some fucking gimmick, and people like people like gimmicks, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's a double-edged sword, right? Because while you might be selling less books but making more money, you're also putting more work on yourself, because then you have to package all of the books and then ship all the books, and that's a bunch of time and work. And people don't think about that, but it's a bunch of time and work that you have to go out and do.
Right. And like, I'm not really making too much more off of it than I would, but it's still like, you know, a little bit more. That and you know, it's a fucking 50 cal ammo can packed with fucking books. The thing's fucking heavy. It takes a little bit to ship the bitch, you know.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, people are like, how much are they? I'm like, they're $200, and they're like, yikes. I'm like, that's including shipping, and they're like, oh, okay, all right. Which I always think's funny, because if like something is like say $100, right? Not including shipping, you'd be like, that $100, that's a lot of money. But if it's $70 with $50 worth of shipping, then it's like, oh no, that shipping's different. It's okay, so I'll spend more money because it's two different things, right?
Right. That's the big fear about fucking eBay, dude. Whenever I get something off of eBay, and you get down to the shipping, and it's like, oh, this phone case you want to buy off of eBay is $4, but it's $29.99 to ship it. Fuck you.
Yeah. Plus fucking import and custom fucking taxes, because I'm coming from Australia.
Or fucking China. Everything comes from China. Like when I was setting this helmet up, I had to get a bunch of night vision mounting equipment, and I went and got all that off of eBay, because fuck buying it like straight from the manufacturer. Like this is like an actual Naruto's helmet mount on here.
Yeah.
That thing costs like $190.
Huh.
Just for the rhino part.
Huh.
Like the rhino part you used to have on your helmet to mount NVGs. It's like $190 brand new.
Yeah, so I would not imagine that should be like $50 max for a good one.
No, well, yeah, you can go on eBay and get that thing for like $40 from some guy who had it issued to him, and he accidentally left with it, found it in a fucking bag somewhere, and he's like, oh, I guess I can put this on eBay.
Yeah.
So, as that's the way you get anything mill surplus. I go on eBay. You just have to make sure that they show the NSN number, and then search the NSN number. So
So the NCIS doesn't grab it on the way out.
Yeah, so if it matches up and it's like, okay, that's actually what I want. Otherwise, you get fucking Chinesium.
Yeah.
You get some airsoft gear. No one wants airsoft gear.
Yeah, I've made that mistake. Fucking, I got a just a fucking cheap site for fucking something, and then it was like, oh yeah, this doesn't hold a 0 for shit. I wonder why. And then like I go back, I'm like, oh, airsoft, got it.
Some companies do. Are we on? We're on Twitch, right?
I think so.
Okay, well, if we're on Twitch, I have to be very careful about this. So, this is clear. Being very safe with this. This is these are actually made in China. These HoloSuns.
Yeah.
And they're actually really good, but it's because what HoloSun does different. God, this chair needs to do it. HoloSun actually is people that live in China and just stay at the factory and make sure the quality assurance happens.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do that, you'll just get crap out of China, like 9 out of 10 times, because they'll cut corners to save money.
Yeah.
And then you get screwed, and your customer gets screwed. But yeah, so there's a couple of companies that do that. HoloSun is one that I can think of, like right off the top of my head. Olight is another one that does that. So there's a couple of companies out there. You just gotta pick and choose and make sure the company isn't like just buying a bunch of crap out of China.
Which I think that's one of the other fucking funny things to talk about the post-apocalyptic shit to fucking tie that in is because there's gonna be people that have like all the fucking like gear, spent tens of thousands of dollars on fucking shit, and then like the last guy alive is a dude that duct taped a fucking mag light to a double barrel shotgun.
Well, I mean, look at Wisconsin. Like this last week, some 17-year-old kid with like a $500 DPMS rifle and a knockoff EOTech.
Yeah,
and he did something that most people I know wouldn't be able to do.
Right.
An attack from a mob.
Dude, I love also how everybody is pissed off about that. It's like, weren't we like talking about all this before, and like how each one of these little not conversations but situations is like, okay, but we throw it all together, and that's bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, he shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe not, but I mean, they probably shouldn't have tried to kill him.
Yeah.
That's just something to think about as well. So I don't think the crazy thing is the charges they're hitting these people with are based off of mob justice, and there's no way they'll stick in a court of law.
No, like that was
it's going to make everything way worse because the mob's not going to get what they want, so they're going to go out and riot again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was like the big thing with Trayvon Martin was they tried what the fuck was his name? Zimmerman. They tried to try him with first-degree murder, but first degree has to be premeditated, and then like they didn't. Like it's like if you would have done second or third or maybe just manslaughter, probably would have got away with it. But tried to go fucking all the way when it wasn't an all the way thing.
Yeah, I mean, first degree is super hard to prove, and they're not going to be able to prove it on this kid either because there's a bunch of footage of him being there, like cleaning graffiti. There's footage of him like helping someone with a medical issue. Like clearly, he didn't go there to shoot people.
Well, then I think like isn't first degree murder? Isn't it? Doesn't that have to be pre-plotted against a certain person or group? Like you can't if you decide, hey, I'm going to go kill somebody, and then just kill some random person. That has to be second degree.
Yeah. So like first degree murder, we're talking like Columbine, right?
Yeah.
Like they planned this. They were going to go there and they were going to kill as many students as they could. Or the Christchurch shooter in New Zealand. That's fucking first degree murder.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is just an unfortunate event where 2 idiots died, another guy got his arm blown off.
Yeah.
Well, mostly blown off. Awful. And then his friend screwed it up even worse. He went on. This is the other thing I don't get is these people that are out like doing riots and shit, like thinking about that. It's like we live in a world where everyone has a camera in their pocket at all times, and like probably a good 50% of people's first instinct when something bad happens is to pull out their phone and record it.
Yeah.
So like if you set a police car on fire wearing a shirt that you can only buy on Etsy.
Yeah.
And then that video goes viral or even quasi-viral or even gets picked up just while the police are doing an investigation. They're going to find that shirt on Etsy, and then they're going to go through the list of everyone who's bought that shirt on Etsy, and they're going to find which person bought that shirt on Etsy in their city, and now they have suspect number one.
Yep.
And when they go get you, like they've got evidence to prove that you're the one that did it. So it's like you're not super smart.
Yeah. That, and if you're doing anything fucking dumb or anything like that, don't fucking wear any type of fucking uniform. And I don't mean that isn't like a uniform item, but it's like, hey, we're all wearing the shirt that says this, or like we're all gonna wear blue pants and this and that. It's like, dude, just wear like a t-shirt and pants. Nothing special about it.
Yeah, just wear a plain white T-shirt and blue jeans.
Yeah,
and then we'll be able to get you right away. You good?
Yeah, no, I don't. There we go. I don't know how to make it just like not fucking autofocus, but
Yeah.
yeah.
How long have you been doing this live stream thing? I only saw like a little bit of the last one you did.
So you're the ninth episode. So fucking I don't know, maybe about a little bit less than a month, maybe. So, like my wife's kind of been on my case for about like a year and a half now about like, hey, you need to make a podcast, you need to make a podcast, you need to make a podcast because you talk, people like it and all that shit. And like at first I was like, okay, A, that's a lot of work. No. B, everybody and their fucking mom has a podcast. But once I started looking at it as not work, as, hey, I'm going to do it on Friday and Saturday nights so I can get a little bit fucking shitty while I fucking do it and just bullshit with fucking people. And it's like, oh, okay, well, that's a different fucking thing. I can do that.
All right, there you go. We used to do, we haven't done it in a while because we sold our building to Black Rifle Coffee, but one of the companies I work at is called Ready Man, and we used to do 2 live feeds a week. We would do one on our public facing page that'd be generally an interview, and then we would do one in our closed group, which was to a smaller, like 10, 11 people or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was like the more core, super hyper engaged people. So it's fun. It's time consuming sometimes, but we sold our building. We moved our studio up to like fucking 45 minutes south of me. So
yeah.
I don't want to drive down there twice a week if I don't have to. We haven't really done a podcast since then.
Well, I mean, fucking a lot of people used to do them like in person with whoever they were talking to, and
that's
thanks.
That's what we were. Yeah, thanks, COVID. COVID is one good thing has come out of COVID, and that's that in-person meetings that could have been emails have actually turned into emails.
Yeah. Well, that and I still have like a lot of friends that are in, and they're like, yeah, dude, meetings are a pain in the dick nowadays. Like, everybody's got like wear a mask to go fucking talk to the fucking general, and it's like, why?
My dog is having a conversation with the neighbor dog. Give me one sec. I'm gonna.
Sounds like a big dog.
Yeah, he's pretty big. Bjorn, come here. Maybe see if he'll even come here. He gets in these moods, man, where he just wants to scream at stuff.
What is he?
He's a Belgian Male. I'm trying to get him to come here, but he's probably locked onto this back door right now. I don't know if you hear the neighbor's dog barking, but he's like, danger.
Yeah, no, I got a chow chow, and there's like a, I don't know what it is. It kind of looks like a Cocker Spaniel, but it's like a little bit shorter. But there's a woman that walks him around the neighborhood, and my dog would get up and just like start barking the fuck out of it every time it walks by. And it's like, oh, hey, is your boyfriend here? Hey, how you doing? I'm not gonna take you outside because I don't want you to do anything naughty. Yeah, you can be looking at the window.
Yeah, he gets like he's the nicest fucking dog ever, but he just gets barrier aggression. Like, so if someone's walking out past the front of our house, he'll start doing that and just going absolutely ballistic. Hey, come here. Come here.
Woof, woof, bark, bark. Dogs.
Yeah, he's fucking ridiculous right now. Come here. Come here. Come here. There he is.
Oh, he's pretty.
He's a good boy. He's just a big dummy, though, aren't you?
Look at that snoot. And the big old ears.
Yeah, he's a
big whopper, too, man. That dog's almost as big as you are.
Yeah, well, you're caught in the headset, bud.
Yeah.
I'm unplugged.
the hazards of having household pets.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can't hear you, so hold on.
You can't hear me, so I'm just gonna like rub my mustache into the microphone. For those of you that are listening and not watching,
We are having technical difficulties.
this is my mustache. It works well as a broom. Oh my god, this makes all those fucking cocksweeper jokes make sense now.
There we go.
Ronnie in the comments is saying now his dogs are fucking going nuts. So
yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, my dog is psycho. He's only got 2 feet, sleeping. What you guys just saw, he gets himself all excited. This cord got caught on one of his little thumb paw nail things.
Oh, dew claws.
Yeah, and he yanked the damn headset off my head. You guys saw that.
Oh, that bites. Dude, I'm glad we don't have those things. Like, just like another fucking like nub of a finger, like right in the middle of your fucking forearm.
No, we got wisdom teeth instead. That's what evolution granted us with.
Well, I mean, like those make sense though, because like they hurt us now, but like back before like 100 years ago, by the time you would get your wisdom teeth, you probably would have lost a couple teeth by then. So like it would push your stuff back together anyway.
True. Yeah. Now they're just there are people being born without wisdom teeth at all.
That's kind of weird because that's not how evolution works.
Yeah, they just don't have any wisdom teeth. It's like they're not like they have room for them. There's just no teeth. Very few people I know have ever actually. I'm one of the only people I know actually that didn't need their wisdom teeth pulled.
No.
So I went into the dentist in boot camp. In boot camp they just fucking pull those suckers out.
I had all 4 of mine pulled out at the same time, and I didn't know they were coming out until after I got the shot in the top of my mouth. So it was like, open your mouth, shut. Okay, we're taking your wisdom teeth out. I'm like,
Yeah, but they went to do mine, and he opened my mouth, and he's like, "How old are you?" I'm like, 18. He's like, "All 4 of your wisdom teeth are already in, and they're perfectly in place. So we're just not going to pull them." I was like, "Fuck yes."
So what you're saying is you're a fucking freak.
Yeah. It's because I'm 6'5" and I have a big ass jaw.
Oh yeah, that could do it too. You know what else I'm glad that humans don't have? I'm glad that we don't have like a nail on our dick.
That'd be fucking awful. Jesus Christ.
No, because like most people probably just like try to keep it trim, but if you cut it too much, you cut your fucking dick. And like I don't cut my fingers too often, but like once every 2 or 3 years, I'll cut too much of a nail off, and then like it hurts like a bitch. But
or you get that string of skin because you nick the skin, you pull it, and it comes back to like your knuckle.
Yeah, hangnails on your dick, like right for the fucking crook. That would suck. But then you'd have some assholes that would like grow it out as like a fucking power move, like towards like long and like curls back up behind itself.
Yeah, there'd be a fucking Guinness World Record for it and shit.
Yeah, dick nail.
It's the longest, most disgusting dick nail. You'd never get laid if you didn't trim your dick nail. Think about that.
Well, I mean, like,
if we had a dick nail though, would that mean women have teeth in their vaginas?
Yes. I was actually about to say that. Yes, you have nails on your dick. Women have teeth behind the lips, behind the hips.
Yeah. God, you've seen that movie, right? Teeth.
Yeah, where the chick's like in the fucking bathtub, like jerking off, or not jerking off, but whatever, jilling off. Is that the right term?
I don't know, probably. Yeah.
Scrubbing the jellyfish.
Yeah. Well, the movie Teeth, where she like just like fucking, I think her brother, her stepbrother, tries to rape her or something.
Yeah. Bites it off.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be fucking horrifying, dude.
Yeah.
That's a good movie though.
Yeah. They have a thing like that where it's like a tampon, but it's got like a spring-loaded spear in it.
Yeah, I've seen the like female anti-rape condom, like the one that goes inside. It's got like the hooks in it.
It looks like a sand tiger shark's mouth. It's like, I'm good. Well, no, what would suck though would be like if you had some chick that like had that in there and then like forgot it was in there and went on a date and then like got drunk and then didn't pull it out like before like she actually meant to have sex.
Ooh.
And it's like, oh god, like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. This has never happened before. You never cut somebody's fucking dick off before? No shit.
Could you sue in that situation?
Would
you want to sue?
I don't know. That's a thing. Like, because you have to deal with like the secondary repercussions of that shit.
Right. Well, you got to go to that. She's got to at least pay for the medical bills.
Yeah.
You're
Well, I
gonna
mean,
have to get that thing surgically reattached, probably,
well,
or be like that Bobbitt guy who had his fucking finger. I don't know if you read about that. He had his like his this part of his thumb like removed and replaced his. Yeah, that was the whole thing.
no, I read a story this one time about this guy who got like some kind of like weird dick cancer, and then if they didn't cut his dick off, he was gonna die. And it was kind of like a tell-all piece about him. And like part of me felt really bad for him, but the other part was like the thing you don't realize is that your dick really protects your balls from shit. Like you're just like bouncing around your fucking pants, and normally that's not a big deal because your dick fucking stops your pants from killing your balls. So he had to have like special underwear made so his fucking nuts weren't destroyed by his fucking zipper and shit. But I was also reading that I was like, okay, so I get dick cancer and I'm gonna die. I'm just gonna fucking die. Fuck it, I'm good.
Did he have the whole member removed, or was it?
Yeah. I think he had like a little, like half of an inch of a nub just to like pee out of. But
Say, I mean, at that point, why not just have the whole like go full eunuch? Go full unsullied. There's no reason to fucking hold on to it.
yeah, no, either I would just die or like I'd say fuck it and just like start taking estrogen fucking hormones. Be like, all right, well I'm a chick now because fuck it, take the whole fucking package out, man. Take my balls off, put them on my chest, call me Stephanie.
The question is, would you be straight or lesbian as a trans person?
I mean, I think at that point, like I would figure that God already handed me a fucking bad deal, so I'm just gonna make sure I go to hell anyway. And it wouldn't be like straight or bi or whatever. It'd just be like, that looks phallic, or fuck it, I can get it in bed. I don't give a shit. Fuck it, let's go. like I would make Freddie Mercury look like Mother Teresa.
God, I watched that fucking movie the other day. What's it called?
Which one?
The movie about Freddie Mercury.
Oh, Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah, that was a fucking good movie. And then I was reading the reviews, and people were like super pissed about it. And I was like, it's not. None of this was. They were like saying that none of it was accurate. It was all fake. I was like,
well, I mean, like my chief complaint about it too was that it wasn't accurate, just because like I wouldn't say I was like a super fan, but like I like Queen, read a lot about him, and it's like, so he's been struggling with AIDS for like 2 years before this, and it's like, well, in real life he didn't even know he had AIDS for like 3 years after Live Aid. But any problem that movie had, the last 15 minutes fucking made up for all of it. Like I have a buddy that has it on Blu-ray, and that edition, it's the whole Live Aid concert instead of just like the 2 songs that they did, and it's fucking beautiful. And like we didn't even watch the fucking movie. We just like fast forward to that fucking scene and then just like, oh man, this is fucking great.
Yeah, it's I think Hollywood has a hard time with that sometimes because they have to change things.
Well, they have to make it entertaining.
They have to insert a story into it, even if because real life isn't a story. People don't have positive and negative and flat arcs in their life. They just don't. I mean, maybe they do. I guess you.
I mean, there is, but you got to edit a lot out.
Yeah. You'd be going from someone being 15 to someone being 45 over the course of an hour-and-a-half movie, so they have to change things. But I don't think I'd want to write movies, man. Not on like non-fictional events, anyways. You ever seen how a screenplay is formatted?
Yeah, like not too deep into it, but tell me about it.
That's the biggest fucking turn off to me. I took a screenplay writing class like right before I dropped out of college. And it was actually one of the last classes I went to before I just stopped going altogether. It's like, it was a shit show, man. And they wanted us to write like a full screenplay by the end of the semester. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. It was, one of many reasons. The primary reason being that I was going to have to take basically a year and a half's worth of math classes, with almost a year of them not even counting towards credit because my math was so bad.
Yeah.
And it was going to result in a general studies degree, not an actual English degree, which is what I wanted. But, You're in college, right? Aren't you in college?
Yeah, no, I got similar complaints because like I'm in a art major, and it's like, all right, so my heaviest semester I had 2 art classes. This one I have 1 fucking art class, and then like 4 other like has nothing to do at the fuck all with it. And it's like, well, I get the whole general education thing, but it's gonna be my major. Shouldn't most of my classes be about this?
And you're paying for it?
Yeah,
a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not. The government is, but
Yeah.
my Uncle Sam. I earned my GI Bill.
This, it's still even that. Like I went to a fucking community college, and I would still end up spending probably like $100 to $200 a semester just on random shit that wasn't covered by the GI Bill.
Yeah.
So the I don't know what it is where you are. It was like $1,015 a month or something is what I was getting for BAH where I was at the time.
Yeah.
But ended up having to spend a good chunk of that first month on fucking books.
Yeah.
And the math books are they're a fucking meme, dude. It's like you go in there to buy the math book, right? And it's like there are no used math books, first of all, because last semester's math books they're out of date now. So you have to get a brand new math book for $129.99. And then when you get that, it comes with a little pamphlet. Inside, you have to go into a web page and spend another $19.99 to get an online subscription to do your homework.
Yep.
It's like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah. And it doesn't work with math too well, but there's a place called thriftbooks.com that has a lot of used school books. That and Pirate Bay has a lot of books too.
Yeah, this was the the general education, like for all of my other classes, like not just probably not math and science are probably the only two where I actually had to buy new books. Like I took a Greek mythology class. I took a another class that was called like Death and Dying. I took another class that was I took a bunch of those types of classes that were elective classes, but not super elective. They dealt with world issues, not just
right. So they like fit under like a sociology or
that's exactly sociology. It's been a minute since I was in college. So I took a bunch of those courses because they were actually interesting. And for those, I'd just go on fucking Amazon and rent the book for $19 for the whole semester, and you're fine. Some of the books I bought the Iliad, the Odyssey, all that shit I bought because I actually wanted to own those books. But
yeah, well, I mean, those are good books to have. And you know what's funny too is older books like that, like the Iliad or the Odyssey that have been around for thousands of fucking years, are similar to the Bible in the way that like if you get different versions of it, they're almost different fucking stories. It's like the same big events happen, but the way they're told is fucking vastly fucking different. Because like I want to say I've read the Odyssey fucking probably 5 or 6 times, like never the same book though. And like I read the one where it's like, oh, here it is in like poetic form. Here's one where somebody just like turned it into a fucking novel. Like here's one where kind of dry and boring, but I'm going to read it anyway just in case there's something fucking insightful in there that I didn't hear the first time.
Yeah, man, this fucking school itself is crazy. I had a math teacher. I was taking like the entry level math. I had to take a semester of math classes that didn't count as a credit.
Me too.
It was like a catch up math class,
mm-hmm.
and it was basically like do all the work at your own pace. Like you sit at a computer, you do a bunch of fucking problems, and then you can leave when you're done for the day. And the teacher just would teach something if a bunch of people had a question about it, basically. And one of the days she just said like the dumbest shit. She's like, well, what if you don't have a calculator? And like, do you know what year? It's 2016. Everyone has a calculator all the time, period. Math teachers can't use that fucking excuse anymore. Like, I am never without this fucking thing.
Yeah.
And it has a very nice calculator in it.
Yeah, and if there's some reason where I need to do that kind of complex math and I don't have a calculator, I have bigger fucking problems.
Yeah. I don't see myself being stranded on a fucking island with my phone being destroyed and needing to do an algebraic equation to make a fire.
Right. Dude, one of my fucking favorite things about that, I forget what comic it was, but they were using cell phones and you being stuck on an island as proof that you're a fucking dumbass. And it's like, oh yeah, you're a human being. You think that you're the pinnacle of fucking, the food chain and end all be all of everything. You're still a fucking dumb shit. If I dropped you off on an island naked with nothing, saying you can come off when you call me, how long will you be on that fucking island? Build a fucking cell phone and call me.
Be there for a fucking, might not even have the materials you need there to make the cell phone. Yeah, the top of the food chain thing, I don't think we've been technically at the top of the food chain for a very long time. You know Max Brooks is, right?
Yes.
He just wrote a new book in July, right?
I don't think so. I've heard of that now.
So he wrote a book called De-Evolution,
Okay.
And if it's worth getting it and reading it. I did the audiobook last time I had to drive out to Wyoming, so whenever I do a long drive, I just pop on an audiobook. That's like the only time I do audiobooks. But it's fucking hilarious. It's like so the premise of the book, without spoiling anything, is a volcanic eruption happens in Washington, and like a green community gets completely cut off for the world, and Sasquatch attacks their community.
What?
Like a family of Sasquatch attacks the community.
That's fucking great.
The characters in the book are literally, if you go on Twitter and you just click trending and you take the first 6 people commenting on something on Twitter, like that's the cast of the story.
Nice.
And it's fucking hilariously awesome.
Dude, that's fucking great. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, it's really fucking good. They're like talking about like the fucking volcano explodes, and they're having a discussion about how they need to pool their resources or whatever.
Yeah.
And this one, like this lesbian couple, one of them is a vegan or something, and she's like, "Oh God, I'm vegan." It's like, well, you're not fucking vegan now because we're stuck in the mountains until spring, and it's October.
Yeah. Well, yeah, dude. Like, I understand. Like, some vegans, like, if you do it for your health, or like if you do it for, like, whatever fucking choices you want. However, that is an extremely, and I know this fucking term kind of has a stigma to it, but that is, and I don't mean it to use it in that term or in that way with the stigma, but it is an extremely fucking privileged situation you're in where you can be a vegan or a vegetarian. Because
it is
like,
nothing wrong with it. Normally,
like, and I was like power went out, fucking society collapses, all that shit. Like, I'm gonna become pretty much a straight up meat eater because I don't know how to fucking farm, but I do know how to go shoot a fucking animal and bring it home, dress it, and fucking cook it up.
Yeah. Or if you're in the fucking Navy, you might end up becoming a vegan on accident because you have to grow fucking potatoes on a ship, and that's all you can eat. So you're a vegan, but that's because all you do is eat potatoes. So,
speaking of that, did you read or see The Martian?
Yes. Yeah, that was a really good movie. I didn't read the story, but I saw the movie.
I was wondering if the potato thing was a reference to that.
Oh no, actually, the guy I was telling you about that I'm working on the other project with, he's a vegan, and some of the characters are on a nuclear powered aircraft carrier, and that's the primary way that they're getting food is they've converted one of the aircraft hangars into a potato farm.
Nice.
So
now there are 2 ways I look at that though. One is there is a God, and one there's not a God. I'm trying to cover my bases on this, right?
Right.
First one, if there is a God, he gave us dominion over fucking animals, and eating broccoli for dinner and not eating the fucking cow is spitting in God's face. So no. Second one, there's not a God. My ancestors did not claw their way to the top of the food chain, fucking tooth and fucking nail, so that like I could live off fucking asparagus.
Right, and there are like legitimate actual arguments for veganism that make sense when you think about it. It's just like, people want to be more environmentally conscious. Or they just really like animals, and they don't like the idea of giant, I'm sure you've seen some of the documentaries that they've.
Oh yeah, no, farms are fucking terrible. Like,
like not like a mom and pop farm where they've got like 10 cows and they
like the factory farms, they're fucking terrible.
Yeah, like the huge fucking factory farms where they keep chickens in cages as big as this water bottle and grow them as fat as they can. But yeah, there's reasons for that, like moral reasons, I guess. But it's a whole other fucking debate,
So I was reading this thing about chickens, and that was one of the, I guess, low-level weapons of the Cold War, because before World War II, chickens, because how like nowadays chicken is fucking just dirt cheap, and like you get it anywhere for like nothing and get a lot of it. So back before World War II, chicken was kind of like beef. Like, yeah, you can eat it every day if you want, if you have fucking money, but a chicken breast cost about as much as a fucking steak did. And then after World War II, when we're like, all right, listen, we got to fucking like figure out a way to prove that fucking communism is fucking wrong because fuck the Russians. An easy way to do that would be make food cheaper and more accessible and better at the same time. Hey, all you Nazis from Operation Paperclip, figure out a way to make chickens fuck more, breed more, be bigger, and have their, what do you call a litter when it's birds?
I don't know, just hatchlings.
Hatchlings, yeah. Make them have like more fucking eggs, so we can just like pump fucking chicken out. And then, you know, people, that's one of the reasons that people eat as much chicken as it, or that is the reason that chicken's as fucking cheap as it is, because the government was like, all right, we need to show the rest of the fucking world that we can make food cheap.
Chickens are fucking amazing animals, though, when you really sit down and think about it. Like, one, even if you're not eating the chickens, they're producing eggs, and you can eat the eggs.
Oh, yeah.
And the eggs are fucking amazing for you. They're just amazing in general. Yeah. So my buddy Jeff, who's also one of the co-writers, he's got a short story in that, Fragments of America. He got, I think, probably, I want to say about a month before COVID, he actually built a chicken coop, and they got a bunch of chickens that were just like little, tiny little fucking chicks, you know?
Yeah.
And 2 months later, all this shit started going down. And he's already got like a steady source of eggs, where he's probably getting 2 dozen eggs a week.
Yeah, no, I got a buddy that does it too, and yeah, never buys eggs, ever.
Yeah. I mean, if you wanted to get a reliable source of chickens, just get a rooster.
Yeah. The other thing, though, is I don't know how much time you spent around chickens, but I fucking hate chickens. Like, and that's something I don't understand. Is like, you know, when you call somebody a chicken, like if you want to call them out for being a fucking pussy, it's like anybody that calls somebody a chicken for being a coward has never been in a fucking fight with a chicken, because a chicken will fuck you up. They're this big and they're little fucking velociraptors. They'll murder you.
Yeah, they're the descendants of the fucking raptors in Jurassic Park, man.
Yeah.
They've even got the fucking giant, long ass fucking talons to fucking prove it. It's crazy. Fucking, what was the other thing that my roommate was telling me about? Some fucking like Irish potato famine that happened.
You know, that was our fault.
Right. And then he was telling me that, because I was talking to him about this the other day, because Idaho had that, I think it was Idaho had that like land hurricane happen that wasn't even in the news, even though like 6 million people didn't have electricity for about a month.
Yeah.
They had like a land hurricane went through, and it destroyed like 50% of the potato crops. And then we were talking about that, and he's like, yeah, well, the crazy thing is there was this Irish potato famine that happened. And then that is now, no one knows what caused that, like specifically, like what caused all of that crazy shit to happen to the potatoes. But then we took that same breed of potatoes. Now it's our primary potato in the United States.
Huh. Hold on real quick. Ronnie's saying the Haber-Bosch process for processing nitrogen was exclusively German. And the impetus for chicken production wasn't a part of German engineering, but fertilizer was. The Germans invented nitrogen fertilizer because they needed something to do with all that nitrogen after the war. All right.
Why are you under the desk?
Because he loves you. That's why he's down under the desk. He wants to be close to you. Be nice to your dog.
Come here. Without pulling my headphones out.
Yeah, no. So other question for you, I guess kind of writing related, was do you ever worry about research? And I don't mean that in the manner that you're not going to be able to figure out what you're trying to do. But I guess case in point was I got something that I'm writing right now where I'm trying to destroy a dam, but the guys that I need to destroy that dam are like out in the middle of the fucking desert. So it's like, all right, I need to know where the strong points of structural integrity are in this infrastructure. I also need to figure out how much boom it takes to get rid of that, or at least crack it. And then I also need to figure out how to make explosives out of shit that I can find in a restaurant. And then it's like, I'm going to go on Facebook real quick. Hey, dear FBI agent that's watching me right now, it's for a book. Chill.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the research that I do on stuff, I can crowdsource from people. So like if I were in that same situation, I'd find one of my engineer buddies, like, hey, I need you to blow up this bridge with homemade explosives. How would you do it?
Yeah.
And then, they give you their down and dirty version of it, and then you just fiction the shit out of that.
Yeah.
And that's the good thing about fiction is we don't have to be 100% accurate in everything that we do and write.
True.
But I always try to just crowdsource stuff like that when I'm researching it. But like, I did a whole bunch of research on fucking nuclear power plants and nuclear power plant security and how their teams are broken down, how much the guys get paid that are doing that. And I was like, damn, let's just go work at a nuclear power plant because that's probably pretty fucking skate.
Yeah.
They make good
and in real life, shit is extremely unlikely to fucking go down there. But you know, for the case of, or for the point of the story,
you need to know, you know, how it all works because they had to have 24-hour security, and I didn't know that, you know, they had 24-hour security. And I figured if they did have 24, like when I first went into it, I was like, okay, well, there's probably, you know, like 4 people that work security at a power plant, and they work, you know, each guy is like at the front gate or whatever. And then I had a buddy that worked security at a nuclear power plant, so I went and asked him. He's like, "Oh no, there's like this whole fucking thing, man." And he told me about it. And I was like, "Okay, I'll like turn that into it." And then I had to start reading about a lot of the stuff I got. Just, and people can hate on it all they want, but I just got a lot of the information off of fucking Wikipedia, dude.
Yeah.
For like how the power plant operates and, you know, how much nuclear materials inside of the fucking power plant. Blah 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 blah. That's all stuff that you can just find in the public domain. So.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I did a little bit of that for one of the books I was fucking reading because I was trying to make sense of something. Or I was trying to make sense of something in the story, plot related. And I kind of thought it was interesting that you can't actually build a fucking bomb out of the nuclear materials that's inside of a nuclear power plant. Like, they processed it fucking different. So, like, if for whatever reason you dropped a fucking JDAM, you know, on like 3 Mile Island, it wouldn't, like, you know, produce blast. Like, the aftermath would be fucking terrible, like Chernobyl level fucking like what the fuck radiation, but like you wouldn't have the Hiroshima effect.
Right, and that's one of the things that I did was it's cool to be able to be ignorant about something before you learn about it, because then you can make your character ignorant about it themselves. So, and like this is a bit of a spoiler to my short story if anyone ever intends on reading that, was that when I went into it, I thought that it could be used for that. And then, you know, I went and I learned that it couldn't, but, you know, my characters didn't do that fucking research beforehand. So my characters are all in this one-track mind that, you know, the Islamic State wants to take over the nuclear power plant and then use the materials to build a bomb.
Yeah.
Well, in reality, and it's going to come up in the follow-on novel that I'm writing to it, actually, they just wanted to take control of the power plant so they could control the electricity in Detroit.
Yeah.
And now they control the electricity in Detroit. If you control the power, as the, you know, Taliban have fucking showed time and time again, if you control the infrastructure, you control the people.
Yeah. What was the big issue with that over there with like I don't know when you were there, but like they had cell phone towers where it's like, hey, listen, you can stop using cell phones between, you know, like 9 p.m. I think and like 6, or we can blow the fucking towers up. And it's like, well, we can't stop them from just blowing the fucking towers up, so return your fucking phones off.
Cell phone towers were the big thing. They would I was in NAWA, the NAWA district in 2010, 2011, which is east of Marja. It's right along the, it's like an area right along the Helmand River, which is, I think, did you say you were in Sangan?
So my first deployment, I was technically in Bastion. However, I was with a cat platoon, so I was fucking everywhere for like a week at a time. Did spend a lot of time in Sangan and Nalzad, and then my second pump I was in Delaram with Sheer, and then
good old DRAM.
What the fuck is the other one? Like Barrows and Bakwa.
You were at Barrows?
Yeah, dude, I fucking love Barrows. That's the fucking best planet.
I got blown up at Barrows.
Oh, that's small fucking world, man.
Yeah, dude, in 2009. So you're familiar with Route 515?
Mm-hmm.
Was it a fucking shit show when you were there?
So my first pump, I was with 2-7, and then we had the Mew down south, and we were the first Americans in the AO for fucking since like right after the invasion. So the Taliban was used to like fighting the French and the Estonians, and the French and the Estonians, they would get shot at and be like, well, ain't our war, we're gonna fuck off. So the Taliban pretty much had fucking free reign everywhere. Like, not because, you know, they were beating anybody, but just because nobody fucking thought it was necessary to fucking fight them, because like, I'm not getting killed over this, fuck it, I'm just here for a fucking job. And then we showed up and they're like shooting at us, and they're like, oh fuck, they're shooting back. And we didn't have a big IED problem until like 4 months into the deployment when the Taliban figured out.
What year were you at Barrows?
What?
What year were you at Barrows?
08.
Oh, geez, yeah, you were there.
Yeah.
When we were there in 09, it was a fucking shit show, dude.
Yeah.
Absolute. Like, there was an IED every 10 fucking feet on
Yeah.
5.5 when we were there. And it's probably because they were like, well, we don't want to get into firefights with these guys because not only do they shoot back, they come at us. Like,
Yeah.
They come towards us. What the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
They're fucking crazy.
No, like when we were in Nowzad, I thought it was fucking great because we were in this fucking firefight, right? And we had just gotten fucking slap rounds because 50 cal and Mark 19s, they don't go through the fucking mud huts, but slap rounds punch right fucking through them. And we're buttoning up this fucking little tiny fucking compound outside of fucking town, and nothing's fucking going through, and they're still shooting at us. So we shoot it with 2 tow missiles, and then both of them don't do fucking anything. And then we hit it with a javelin, and the javelin like takes out like that much of the fucking top of the fucking rock. And then fucking we're just like shooting, like kind of just like suppressing fire, like, hey dude, what are we fucking doing? Like, they're not really hitting us, we're not really hitting them. This is kind of just like, what the fuck? And then like this fucking Cobra shows up and just fucking demolishes the fucker, and we're like, yes.
Yeah, Cobras don't have that problem. Cobras don't care what you're behind.
Yeah. Fucking, if the hashtag was around vibe check back then, fucking, we should have just like called all Cobras vibe check.
I think the first vibe check probably actually happened from like an Apache to a fucking group of Taliban guys putting an IED in. That was the first vibe check.
So we were outside of Bakwa, right? And we're in a fucking OP, and we're staring down fucking this hill, like looking like, half fucking mile away, and fucking route surveillance. And we see this dude digging a hole in the road. We're like, oh, that's a dude digging the hole in the road. Let's watch him, see what he fucking does. Fucking gets done digging the hole, starts pulling shit out of the fucking truck. We can't see what it is because he's far away, but we can see that he's pulling something out of the truck and putting it in the ground. And we're like, okay, so that dude's planting something. And we're with Cat, so fucking my section fucking leader's like, hey, we should just shoot this dude with a fucking tow missile. And then we go to the fucking lieutenant, and we're like, hey, so this dude's digging this hole. We're gonna hit him with a tow missile. And the lieutenant's like, no, you're not doing that. And we're like, oh, god damn it. He's like, no, we have air on station. Fucking Bird's 5 mics out. And we're like, fucking sweet. I'm gonna watch one dude get schwacked with a fucking JDAM. This is gonna be the most awesome fucking thing ever. And then lieutenant's like, hey, Bird's like, fucking 60 seconds out. And then like as soon as he said that, fucking dude just fucking explodes himself. And we're like, I don't think bombs work that way. What the fuck? So, he calls off the fucking Bird. We go down there. Turns out the dude blew himself the fuck up. And I was pissed off because I wanted to see fucking, I don't know how much a JDAM cost. I'm guessing at least $200,000 bare minimum. It's like, I wanted to see that much money wasted on one fucking dude. But no, you had to go blow yourself up, you fucking piece of shit.
Went and blew yourself up with your $10 IED. Dumbass.
Yeah. You made out of fucking fertilizer and fucking diesel fuel, which, by the way, that's fucking ingenious. Like, I'm gonna mix the shit together, put it on a tarp, let it dry, chop it up, put a cell phone in it.
You never know it, but like you use a rolling pin to make explosives. Who knew, right? You just fucking roll that shit out and do a little flat pancake, and then cut it up. No, probably shouldn't get too in depth on how to make an IED on the screen.
Yeah, that's probably not good for whatever, but. I will say, I did think it was fucking, like, it really pissed me the fuck off because, like, you don't want them to be this smart, but in retrospect, kind of fucking genius, where they would get their fucking det plate. What they would do is they'd put a det cord in it and then have it between 2x4s, so like a metal detector won't fucking find it. And the United States, like, dude,
see the water bottle ones? Did you see the water bottle ones?
I don't think I saw the water bottle ones.
The water bottle ones were even fucking crazier because it was just plastic. They're two tiny little aluminum foil connectors with the wire running in between it, and when you crush the bottle, like a guy could step on it and it would blow up. Whereas like with the boards, they use like kind of heavy duty springs, and those are what you were trying to hit with the CMD, like because pretty much they weren't using any heavy metal shit when we were there. So you try to be hitting on those springs. If you got like a beep and then a beep, you knew that okay, that might be something. But if you just got like one small beep, it was probably nothing. But the water bottle ones were pretty fucking gnarly. And then they started doing shit with like AT4s.
The tube?
Not like with the tubes, but they would take like ammo cans, AT4s, magazines, like whatever they could find that was from us that we thrown out while we were on patrol, and then they would put it on our patrol routes. So, Private Dumbass runs up to pick up the magazine, blows his fucking arm off. But we caught onto that. Like I don't think anyone ever actually got caught with that. We'd see a fucking magazine and throw a hand grenade at it.
It's like sneaky motherfucker.
Yeah, but did they have OP Jack when you were at Barrows?
When I was at Barrows was the fob. It was like maybe 50 yards by 20 yards, and there was a squad there.
Yeah, well, it was a whole platoon when I was there. You could throw a football from one side to the other side, pretty easily. There was like 90% of the outpost was a fucking mortar pit. But we had an OP called OP Jack that was probably so there's like a small bridge, right? So I don't remember it exactly. There's like a small bridge with a berm on either side of it. So there's like berm, and then there's this bridge that goes across a wadi.
Was that across from the graveyard?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there was like a big ass hill there. So up on the top of that hill, we put up there was a thing called OP Jack that 3-8 put in, and that was the coolest place to go because it was just like a week, just you and your squad.
Like I a lot of those places because I was combat camera, but like I figured I guess the best way to say it was like I just lucked out. Because like my first pump was like, hey, listen, we don't really know what to do with you guys. You're gonna hang out with Cat the entire deployment. So I was like, all right, fucking cool, got it. But it was outside of Nalzad, and one of the not scary but eeriest things was the first time I ever heard a fucking sniper on the fucking radio. Because everybody else is like either fucking talking or they're fucking freaked out and they're screaming. But then you have like one dude over here, and he's like, hey, dude, this is me. I'm over here. Can you guys hear me? I can hear you. I can see this and that and whatever. And like I'm in the back of this fucking MRAP and like I got the fucking speaker right here. I'm like, Satan, is that you? Yes, do it. I can see everything. You can call me God. It's like, all right, man.
Fucking God is the best call sign for a sniper in the world.
Did you ever see Navy SEALs?
Yes.
Yeah. I love that scene where Michael Biehn falls to the floor. He's like, God, help me, God. And like the fucking Hezbollah dude's like, your God cannot help you, no, American. And then like Bill Paxton just like whacks the fucking guy.
He's got the FLIR sight that can see through fucking solid concrete.
Yeah.
Not quite how that works, but I'll allow it.
Yeah, for the sake of this story, yes, I'm down. Fucking dude, I love Bill Paxton, man. Fucking one of the things great about him is he's the only person that got killed by an alien, a predator, and a fucking Terminator.
Got killed by a Terminator in his first fucking movie.
Yeah. Oh, and then also he was in that TV show Big Love, which was just about Mormon polygamy on the black market.
Oh man, all the polygamous Mormons moved to Mexico.
Really?
Back in like the early 1900s. So one of the big things that happened out here, and I only just recently learned this because there's like a bunch of Mormon camps in Mexico.
Yeah.
And the people are all Mexican citizens, but if you met one of them, you'd be like, okay, this is just an American that lives in Mexico.
Yeah.
But God, what was it that happened? Like 2 women and like 6 kids. They're like driving from like one of the ranches to another ranch because they all own ranches.
Yeah.
And the cartel ambushed them and like killed everyone but the kids. And it was like it wasn't national news at all. But here in Utah, it was like front page news. And then like 2 weeks later, we had an earthquake, and there's like some statue on top of the Mormon temple that holds a trumpet. And allegedly in the Mormon text, if the angel that the statue depicts ever drops his trumpet, the world is going to end. And the earthquake caused him to drop the trumpet. And then like 3 weeks later, COVID happened. So it's like, oh, wow. Maybe there's something to this Mormonism. Shit.
Well, I mean, like the thing with that though is like most of the time in that like in any religion, not just Christianity or Abrahamic religions or whatever, is it's all so fucking vague.
Oh yeah.
That it's like I can interpret this however I want. Like I call it the Nostradamus effect. This also works with Alex Jones. If you say enough shit, something's gonna fucking happen.
You get something right. Did you see the? Maybe it was. I think it might have actually been your newsfeed that I saw it. There's like a bunch of pictures from Epstein's estate that were released, and there was like one of Bill Clinton in drag. Not like pictures, like paintings.
No, it was a painting. Yeah. And there's one with George Bush, like
throwing
blocks, but it's 9/11.
Yeah, and he's like throwing paper airplanes at Jenga blocks or something.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, maybe Alex Jones isn't fucking crazy.
Well, no. What I love about that though is, I guess due to the nature of like who I am and like who my friends are in the past, like I have a lot of like hardcore, way on the left, fucking like worst case scenario, fucking liberal leftist friends. But they're cool in person, so it's like I'm just gonna like skip past your fucking Facebook because you're cool to drink with, but I don't care about your fucking political views, that kind of shit. But they will straight up,
I'm not a communist.
Yeah, they'll be like, hey, listen, fucking, there's no fucking conspiracy, right? There's no like elitist fucking pedophiles or anything. It's like, right, yes, Jeffrey Epstein was a legitimate businessman, and everyone that went to that island went for just a conference. Got it. Cool.
Yeah, the thing to know about every conspiracy theory that has been ever written is that they all start with one small kernel of truth somewhere. Yeah. You'll find this in any conspiracy whatsoever. Like the 9/11 conspiracy, there's a small kernel of truth that the steel beams were at a like weird angle during the collapse of the buildings or whatever. You look at chemtrails, like, yeah, it's kind of weird. So the kernel of truth is that planes have a chemtrail behind them, right? With the Epstein conspiracy, the kernel of truth is a private island for billionaire pedophiles.
Yeah.
That's the kernel of truth. That's where we start, right?
But, on the other side of that, though, it's like very easy to dismiss it because it's like, well, I mean, if all these people were part of it and we have documents of it, we surely would have arrested them by now, right?
Right.
Right?
There's no way we would just be forced to look at the shiny race thing. Look, yeah. race war.
Yeah, dude, that I'm pretty sure that's why. What the fuck is her name? I don't know what her first name is. It's like Ghislaine fucking Maxwell or whatever. Like
it's Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah,
like or some shit.
Yeah, like I have nothing to back this up. This is just speculation, but I'm pretty sure that like what happened was she saw fucking Epstein fucking get schwacked or not kill himself, and then she's like, okay, so if I go to prison, they're gonna kill me. So I'm gonna take all these documents and I'm gonna give them to like, I don't know, 10 fucking people that I can trust, and then if anything happens to me in prison, whoever kills me, the other side or that side's fucking shit gets released, and it's probably why she's not dead yet. But that's what I think.
I don't know what the fuck's going on with that whole thing, man. That whole fucking situation is just like, fuck it, man. You just need to let all the shit come out. Doesn't matter if they're left or right. If you're a fucking pedo,
yep, burn them all.
Burn them all, right?
Burn them all.
Like the dude that got shot in Wisconsin. It comes out that he was like a registered sex offender and he like raped a 14-year-old girl or something. Like, fuck it, I don't give a shit at all anymore. Fuck that guy.
Well, yeah. So here's my breakdown on that, right? And hear me out on this. If you want to look at it, whatever, you can make the argument that I forget what the kid's name was, the kid with the AR-15, but that dude probably shouldn't have shot that guy. However, that dude should have been shot a long fucking time ago. So it's like, yeah, I mean, like maybe the kid's in the wrong for doing it, but that's something that should have happened fucking anyway.
Yeah. I mean, when you watch the video, it's like, and here's the problem is the video comes from it's not even an iPhone quality fucking camera. It's like a fucking 8-year-old Android phone that recorded it, but it looks like the dude threw something at the kid. And then the New York Times actually did, surprisingly, a really good timeline of the whole event and how it played out.
Well, the New York Times is weird because they'll do a lot of hardcore left shit, but then they'll also do like really good investigative journaling. It just depends on who is writing it.
Right. It depends on who the editor of the day is, I guess, because the editors are the one that have the publishing power, and that's the true crime of journalism today is that the fucking editors are no longer the way they used to be. like I took a journalism class because I was still in college when I was working at 530, and I was doing a lot of journalistic shit at Funker 530, and I had no idea what I was doing basically. Like I didn't even know what AP format was. Basically, I had Will, who's the other writer there, was like go through and AP format my articles before we published them. So I took a journalism class, and during that we did like this gigantic fucking study on the investigative journalism piece that uncovered all the pedophilia in the Catholic Church. And like you just don't fucking see that shit anymore. Like journalists don't do that. All journalists care about now is how many clicks can I get on my article?
Yep.
What is the best way to get those clicks? The best way to get those clicks is to write a headline that will get it a ton of fucking shares. And then format the article with subheadings in a way that it's very skimmable.
Right. Yeah, no, and like that though is like one of the reasons. I forget what the fucking thing is called, but like I would say that like I wouldn't identify as like a fucking libertarian, but like I more with them than anything else. But on that, I still lean a little more to the right. And I fucking hate Ronald Reagan for a lot of fucking reasons, but one of them is because it used to be illegal to lie on broadcast, and Reagan got rid of that. And it's like, why? What's up with this, buddy?
Yeah, you should have the freedom of speech, but there should also be a system in place. And this might sound like, I don't know, maybe fascist or something, but there should also be like a licensing system in place where like bona fide journalistic entities have like a different URL or something.
Well, I mean, there's a difference between freedom of speech, as in what you and me are talking about right now, between
and freedom of press,
and what someone's putting out in the press. Yeah.
And that's the biggest issue. Is so much of what is being published in the news today it's an editorial. It's not news. Yeah. It's an editorial written by the journalists, and like we don't need an editorial on the shit that happened in Wisconsin. We need the facts. That's it. That's all we need is and the New York Times put out a really great piece on that. And in the very first video of the entire incident, while the kid's being chased, you hear 2 gunshots before the kid shoots. So it, if I were 17 years old and in that kinetic situation for the very first time in my entire life, this is the first time, I've ever been in a fight. Realistically, this could be the first time that kid's ever been in a fight. Yeah. And you hear 2 gunshots with everything that's going on around you, I could see how he would think, okay, this guy's shooting at me, and then turn and shoot. But
what is it? Ronnie said the fairness doctrine is what it was called. Yeah, with Reagan. But yeah, no, fucking. The other thing with that though too is like, I kind of have to disagree with the fucking left on that. Where it's like, well, he, fucking crossed state lines with a fucking AR-15 to, go shoot people and blah, blah, whatever. It's like, yeah, so I joined the Marine Corps when I was a fucking teenager to do the exact same thing. So that line of logic's not working with me, buddy.
Yeah.
Whether or not who's in the right, I'm just saying, I'd be a hypocrite to fucking hate on you for that.
I think out of everyone involved with that entire situation, my least favorite person is the kid's mom. The kid's mom took him to a city where there was riots happening and let him bring his gun and then left him unattended.
Wait, hold on. Did she like drop him off and say, have fun, Jimmy, I'll see you in 3 hours. Here's $5 for dinner.
That's what it sounds like when you hear about it, but it's like I don't fucking know what the full situation is. But I know if I had a 17-year-old kid who said, hey mom, there's a riot happening in the city 25 minutes away from us, will you take me there with my AR-15 so I can meet all these 30-year-old militia members that I met online? Like, no, get your ass back in your room and go play Fortnite, boy. Like, fuck you.
I would have a different approach. I'd be like, okay, get in the car. Leave the gun here. Get in the car. This is Sergeant Smith. He's a National Guard recruiter. And if shit hits the fan and you have to shoot somebody, well, they'll back you up. Yeah. Like, have you ever seen the movie Thank You for Smoking?
No.
There's a character in it. Like the movie's about a tobacco lobbyist, but there's a character in it who they were kind of doing his backstory, and he watched the Kent State shootings on TV and wanted to go shoot college kids. So he tried to go join the National Guard. The National Guard guy was out for lunch, so he joined the Army instead, and then fucking went to fucking Vietnam. So he's like, yeah, instead of shooting college kids, he ended up fighting the Viet Cong, got shot back instead. Here.
Oops.
Dude, I got another fucking funny story about that kind of shit. One of my dad's friends, he didn't want to get drafted and go to Vietnam because he was like, nah, that's bullshit. I'm not going to fucking Vietnam. Fuck that. Right. So to get out of going to Vietnam, he decided, well, the Navy is all in the water. There's no fucking sailors on the fucking ground in Vietnam. I should join the fucking Navy instead. So when he's talking to the recruiter's like, hey, so you don't want to be on the ground. There's this thing called a Navy corpsman, right? And what they do is they hang out in hospitals with all these nurses. So he's like, yeah, make me a fucking Navy corpsman. Anyway, he got his Navy Cross because the two guys that came back from Cambodia were him and the dude he was fucking dragging. And the only reason he was in that situation is because he didn't want to get drafted and go to Vietnam.
See, a really smart guy that didn't want to get drafted and go to Vietnam would have joined the Navy, but then specifically requested duty on a submarine. Because you know who didn't do any shit in Vietnam? Guys on submarines.
Yeah.
They didn't do fuck all in Vietnam. Fuck, man. I got kind of fucked like that too when I joined. So I joined in 2006, and I left for boot camp in January 2007 with the contract for 0331 to be a machine gunner. Yeah. When I talked to my recruiter, he said, so, what MOS do you want? We can put you on open contract, or, you can be smart and choose your MOS. And then I was like, oh, wow, he's like, he didn't try to fuck me and just get me to go in on open contract. Because already my stepdad was in the Army. He's like, you're not signing up open contract. But he's like, well, we'll let you choose your job. And I'm like, well, I want to be a helicopter door gunner. He's like, all right, so you want to be a machine gunner? Like, all right, yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that. So I signed all the I signed the 0331 contract, and I go off to boot camp. Everything's fine. They hand out all the MOSs at boot camp, and like Brooks 0331, whatever. So I go home on 10 days of leave, and then I go to SOI. So I'm going through SOI, and SOI, like the first 2 months of it or whatever, everyone's together doing like the 0311 package. Yeah. And then the last month of it, the last month and a half of it, they split everyone off to do their weapons MOSs, and then the 0311s continue doing more advanced 0311 shit. And I split off with the machine gunners. I'm like, all right, so this is the part where we like go start learning, how to do the helicopter shit. And we break off and go to the armory. We pick up 240s and we start hiking out to the 240 range. And that's kind of when it dawned on me, like, there ain't going to be no helicopters involved with this at all. Like, I'm just a fucking regular machine gunner. I got fucked.
Son of a bitch.
I didn't ask anyone, though, because we did not have approachable SOI instructors. That's for damn sure. They were
Coast or East Coast?
I was West Coast. And
so you remember Sergeant Major Vines?
Yeah. Sergeant Major Vines was the daywalker was there when I was at SOI, and then again when I went back to Pendleton for machine gun leaders course, he was still there, and I didn't get chewed out by him at all until like the second week of machine gun leaders course, and it was because I was wearing my Oakleys. I had like M frames or something, but the O wasn't matte black.
Oh, yeah.
So I caught like a 30-minute ass chewing about target indicators and how I was going to get everyone killed because the O was not matte black on my Oakleys. And then later that night, he caught us. We were all the Hawaii Marines, so we didn't have like our own barracks and shit. We were all staying in the temporary TAD barracks, right? Yeah, like right there in the 52 area.
Fuck, when was that?
08.
Dude, we were in fucking Pendleton at the same time. That's fucking kind of cool.
Yeah, so it was like right after I got back from Iraq, I went there. Yeah. Everyone went on post deployment leave, and I went to machine gun leaders course. Yeah, that was fun. I got like an extra 2 weeks of Christmas leave though. That was the compensation. That was the compensation for everyone else got like 15 days of Christmas leave, and I got like a whole month because I didn't do post deployment leave. But later that night, like all of the Hawaii Marines, like all of us, we were like going over to the PX to get 40s to get fucking hammered and write 5-paragraph orders, because that's how you write 5-paragraph orders. You drank 40s, sit at a table.
Yep.
But we were all wearing flip flops. Like we were all wearing, because in Hawaii, that's not a thing. Like you don't think about wearing flip flops, and like you always wear flip flops, you always wear tank tops. So we were in flip flops and tank tops coming out of the PX, and there he was, and we got fucking destroyed, man. He was fucking screaming at us. And we had our sergeant, Sergeant Bruno. He died in a motorcycle accident like 5 years later, but he caught the brunt of it because we're all in tank tops and flip flops and board shorts, and he fucking lost his mind. It's like, we're from Hawaii, Sergeant Major. We didn't know that was like a thing that you weren't allowed to do. Yeah. It's just how everyone is in Hawaii. We all wear flip flops and board shorts and tank tops.
To throw it back to a conversation we were having earlier, fucking 29 Palms is a lot like that. In the manner that I guess the best way to illustrate it was we got a safety brief one fucking time. Not a safety brief, but whatever the fuck you call it when y'all go to the fucking base theater and like some dude talks at you forever the fuck long.
Safety stand down.
Yeah. But there was this gunny there, and he was from Headquarters Marine Corps, and he was talking to us about like standards and shit. And he was like pretty much yelling at all of us, you know, because like we're in 29 Palms for this, right? And he's like, yeah, so I did this experiment where I went to PXs and commissaries across the Marine Corps. I was in my uniform, but instead of my skivvy shirt, I had a bright pink shirt on. I walked around Camp Pendleton. I got into the PX. I was there for 5 minutes before somebody said, hey, Gunny, no disrespect or anything, but what do you got that pink shirt on? And he's like, oh, okay, well, you know, sorry, I didn't know, or blah, blah, whatever excuse, I'm out. He's like, yeah, so I walked around the PX on fucking Camp Lejeune. I barely got in the door before some fucking Lance Corporal was trying to fucking correct me, like, hey, Gunny, what are you doing? And he's like, I walked around the fucking PX in 29 Palms for 3 fucking hours. Nobody said a goddamn word to me. And I was like, well, I mean, have you fucking tried living here, dude? No one cares. We got other fucking problems. We have a fucking square mile shit lake 500 yards away from the barracks. I don't give a fuck about your fucking uniform. I just don't want to fucking smell fucking Lake Mandini anymore.
Yeah, we had in Hawaii, we have this place called Mackey Hall. It's still there. And they used to have a track right across the river from it. Now that's like a giant air wing barracks, because the air wing, when I was in Hawaii, the air wing was living in a barracks that still had bullet holes from Pearl Harbor, the attack of Pearl Harbor. Like there was still, you know, Japanese strafing, you know, impacts in the barracks they were living in. So they built them a new barracks over on the track. But either way, if you go there now, there's like a big ass modern barracks, and then there's Mackey Hall, and in between that we have what's called Shit Creek.
Yeah. And
Shit Creek it runs off to the Marine Corps base waste pond. So we have the same thing there. Like we call it the shit ponds. We don't call it. It doesn't have like a Lake Bandini name. We just call it the shit ponds. But we have the same thing there. Yeah, in Hawaii, no one would have said anything to him there either. It's funny because dudes will specifically request Hawaii, like their third or fourth duty station. It's very rare that, like, if you get stationed there out of your MOS school, it's super lucky. So I got super lucky to get stationed there. But you'll get like these staff sergeants and gunnies. They show up like their first day in Hawaii. There's like fucking vein popping out of their fucking forehead because everyone's walking around just like on island time. No one gives a fuck.
Yeah.
And then I had the exact opposite experience. I went from Hawaii to Camp Lejeune. Where it's like I couldn't get out of my car at the fucking 7-Day store to get beer without someone being like, "Hey, take your glasses off the top of your head." What? That's a thing?
Yeah, dude. Like Lejeune is like the worst place for fucking standards. Like everyone there's got like the stick up their ass is a fucking oak tree.
Yeah. That's a fucking understatement.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fucking culture shock for me going from Hawaii to Lejeune, dude. That was a fucking nightmare. And I went from partying in Waikiki every weekend with a new batch of tourist girls every 2 weeks.
Yep.
To fucking Jacksonville, North Carolina, which is
the same sluts that have been there since fucking 1996.
Yeah. Of course, the strip clubs outside of Camp Lejeune, even the Driftwood, were better than all of the strip clubs in Hawaii. So
Oh, well, I mean, I guess there's that.
there's like two strip clubs on the island of Oahu, I think.
Really? There's only 2 strip clubs on Oahu.
That I know of, and they're right next to each other. One's called Hawaii by Nights, and the other one's called Alley Cats.
Huh.
If you want to see fat strippers, you go to Hawaii by Nights. If you want to see old strippers, you go to Alley Cats.
Yeah, no, see, that was one of the perks of fucking 29 Palms. Actually, I want to get my 29 Palms story here in a minute, but one of the perks of that is like there's one strip club in Joshua Tree, and it's not good. Like my basement is bigger than that fucking, like where I am right now is bigger than that entire fucking club. It sucks. But an hour and a half one way, I got Los Angeles, and then like 2 hours the other way, I got Vegas. So it's like, dude, if I'm gonna be out for the fucking weekend, fuck it. But the reason I ended up in 29 Palms was so like I went TAD and deployed with 2-7 and then 3-4. So you know, like when we did our shit, like we would do fucking all the workup stuff and then like do Viper or CAX, whatever the fuck they called it, and then we just stay there until after fucking deployment. We even go back to 29 Palms, hang out there for fucking 2 weeks, and then fucking come back to fucking Pendleton. So like it's kind of like whatever with the fucking shit. But I got sent to fucking Quantico to Makayak, the fucking IO fucking center they fucking stood up, and that place was every level of fucked up toxic fucking bullshit. And I got back from Okinawa. I did a rotation there, and the reason I went to Okinawa is because like somebody else, like their wife had some fucking problems, couldn't go, and they're like, we need somebody to go to.
Okay, just say you went to Okinawa because you were looking for a waifu. It's all right.
Yeah, but anyway, I was like, fucking, hey, I'll go. I'll do anything to get the fuck out of here. So I go there, I come back, and then like I have like 3 months left on my contract, and I've been on station for like 2.5 years. Get back from Okinawa. I walk into the fucking monitor's office, and I'm like, hey, Master Sergeant, how's it going? How are you today? It's like, I'm doing all right. Hey, listen, I don't know if you drink. I don't know how your day's been, but I brought you some PX coffee. And he's like, no one's ever brought me PX coffee before. I was like, all right, cool. Can you get me the fuck out of Quantico? And he goes, give me a second. Looks at his shit. He's like, okay, so who are you again? And like kind of like bullshit with him for a minute. He's like, so I can send you to Lejeune in like 8 months, or I can send you to 29 Palms in 3 weeks. I was like, send me to fucking 29 Palms. Get me the fuck out of here. And then I'm like happy to fucking leave, right? And then I get to 29 Palms, and 29 Palms is not the fucking same thing if you're stationed there as it is. Dude, fuck this goddamn camera. Fuck this camera. Come on, dude. I'm right here. Right, dude. Come on. Over here. Okay, well, this is being stupid. Hold on. Back up a little bit. No. Well, fuck it. I'm going to talk anyway. So if you're,
if I do it too.
I think it's just on my end. I don't. There it is. Yeah. So like, if you go to fucking 29 Palms fucking training, yeah, it sucks. You're out of your fucking environment. Fucking the heat is a fucking thing, or the cold is a fucking thing, because people don't fucking realize 29 Palms is cold as shit in the winter, just as much as it's hot as shit in the fucking summer. And if you're there for training, you go to Wilson, and then you go out to fucking Lead Mountain, and then like go find a rock to beat off behind for like a fucking month. But if you're stationed there, no one is ever sober. Like there had been multiple times where like I walked into fucking work and fucking found my staff sergeant. I was like, hey, staff sergeant, just to let you know, I'm good today. And he'd be like, what? And he's like, I'm fucking good. And he's like, get in my fucking office, go fucking lie down on the fucking couch. I'm gonna answer some emails in like 3 hours. Go the fuck to sleep. So I go fucking crash in my staff sergeant's office for like 3 fucking hours, and then fucking wake up and have to deal with the fucking hangover the rest of the fucking day. But like that was about it across the fucking board. No one in 29 Palms is ever fucking sober. And like on one hand, it's like, yeah, dude, that's some like depressing like 80s rock star shit, but like not in a good way. But I'm still in my fucking like mid or early 20s, and my body can handle it. So fuck you.
I don't even like really drink anymore, because the last 6 months that I was in Hawaii, I practically developed a problem. So my third deployment, my 10-11 deployment to Naua, I was on the battalion jump team. So I saw like all of Helmand province.
Yeah.
And I was fucking like with the battalion commander and battalion staff like the entire time. So we were like a very high vis platoon. Everyone knew who we were, so we had to be on top of our shit. But when we got back to Hawaii after the fact, and the battalion commander left, I was getting ready to PCS to Camp Lejeune, but I had like 4 months or something before I did.
Yeah.
So like, that entire 4 months, I was the senior guy for my platoon as a corporal, and I had like 20 guys, and I would just call our company first sergeant, who was the headquarters company first sergeant. We were the only infantrymen other than the scout sniper platoon, and in headquarters, like we were all infantry guys.
Oh yeah.
Because we didn't belong to a rifle company, we technically belonged to the battalion. But I would just call him and be like, "Yeah, we're good," and he's like, "All right, cool." And so we would wake up at 8. I would wake up at 8, call the first sergeant, tell him we were good, and he'd be like, "Cool." And then I'd go back to bed and sleep off my hangover. And then at like 1, we'd go down, like me and my buddies would go down to White. Like our boots they just hung out at the barracks. They didn't fucking do anything, and they stayed out of trouble, which is cool.
That's also very fortunate of you, because you could very easily have boots where it's like, "Hey, Corporal, I set it on fire."
No, we had the fortune. The cool thing about our platoon was I was able to make the cuts. So we did like a standard workup for that deployment, and halfway through it, I got to make cuts on the platoon, and I got rid of all those kids. Nice. Because the jump platoon is generally made up of like volunteers and people the companies don't want. So basically, all the people the companies didn't want that were shitbags, I sent back to the companies, or we sent them to ETT teams. Okay. And they weren't all shitbags. I had to make a couple cuts that I didn't want to. Like there's a couple kids that I didn't want to get rid of, but we just didn't have enough spots.
Yeah, that happens.
So I had to send them back. Well, they're the ones that we sent on the ETT teams, but the other kids that were shitbags, I just sent them back to the rifle companies. So they got their shitbags back. But so fortunately, we didn't have those, but because we would have been in a fucking world of trouble. But for 4 months, all we did every day, 7 days a week, was party in Waikiki, come back to the barracks at 4:00 in the morning. I would call the first sergeant like Monday through Friday and let him know that the platoon was up. And that was it became like a problem. By the time I was leaving, like if I hadn't been drinking by noon, my hands were shaking and shit.
Yeah.
Like, I got to back up off of
that's an issue. like if you're a functional alcoholic, that's okay. But if you have a chemical dependency, that's a little bit different.
Yeah, when it became like when I get barracks duty and I wasn't allowed to drink for the day, my fucking hands were shaking at like 1:00 noon.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I might have a problem. I need to back up a little bit. I think the first real indicator might have been that we would drink with our bartenders at other bars on nights that they weren't working. I think that might have been one of the second red flag might have been the bar trying new shots out on us for free because we were there so often.
Nice.
It's like the bartender would be like, "Oh, we're gonna put this on the drink menu. You guys want to help us develop the drink?" So it was like a Wednesday night at 9 p.m. and we're all 26 shots deep trying to fucking get this shot just perfect for the bar. I have a problem.
So that reminds me of one of my buddy's stories. This one's a little more humorous than that though. Fucking once again, we're combat camera, and my buddy Jack, he goes out to this fucking shoot at the fucking golf course because some generals are getting together and whatever, right? Dude comes back to the fucking shop. It's maybe 11, and he is fucking plastered fucking drunk, right? And the platoon sergeant starts fucking yelling at him, and he kind of like goes like half-ass parade rest, but also doesn't really care what the fuck the platoon sergeant's fucking yelling about. And then the master sergeant comes out, and the chief warrant officer comes out, and they're all fucking like, "We're gonna fucking run you up the fucking flagpole, blah blah blah. We're gonna make an example out of you." All this fucking shit. She's like, "Can I say something in my defense?" And they're like, "Yeah." Also, this is right back after we get back from Afghanistan, so we all have like the iPhone because the iPhone's shiny and new, and we have like deployment money. And he goes, let me show you this video real quick. And he plays this fucking video, and in the video, it's him, and he goes, "Hey, I'm a little fucked up right now," and it pans over, and then Sergeant Major Kent is there. He goes, "Hey, this is Sergeant Major Kent. This is my my good buddy Lance Corporal, who the fuck ever. I know that he might have some problems when he gets back to the shop, but if you have a problem with it, you call me directly. And like, go back to the fucking barracks and go to the fucking sleep right now. He was out fucking filling sandbags and like raking fucking sand for a couple of weeks after that. But like nobody could ever do anything to him like on paper because he's got a video of him and the Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps. The Sergeant Major's like, I gave him these fucking shots.
He's got Sergeant Major Kent's permission, and I don't know if you know who Sergeant Major Kent is, but he's kind of a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck. He was Sergeant Major like what, 2007 to 10 or some shit.
Do you remember when they came out with that meme of him? It was like one of the first big Marine Corps memes I ever saw. It was like a birthday message or something. And Sergeant Major, he was like shaking hands with a bunch of Marines, and then there was like another black Marine at the end, and they did like, the dark green Marine handshake, and then it like cuts in the middle of it and starts playing the Snoop Dogg song.
Dude, I miss those. They don't do those anymore.
No, those are the smoke weed every day.
D-O-double-G. And they had the sunglasses that like came down and like rested on their faces and shit.
Oh God, man. Fuck, those were. He was a good Sergeant Major. He was one of the good ones. Then we had Famous Amos, the old commandant. Remember General Amos?
I don't even know who the fucking commandant and Sergeant Major are anymore, but I don't have to. So.
The last one I remember is General Neller, and I think he was like coming on as I was getting out. So I remember him.
And I think we're.
But what's that? You were in combat camera, right?
Yeah.
Did you know a guy named Blumenstein by chance? You guys are a pretty small community, right?
It's small enough to where if I don't know them, I know of them. Minus like 10 fucking people, and by 10, I mean like literally like fucking 10. I don't think I know that guy though.
Yeah, we had a guy named Sergeant Blumenstein that went on the MEU with me. He was an interesting fellow. A lot of the combat camera guys I met were very interesting people.
Because like the thing is there are like two kinds of people that join the Marine Corps. People that come in and be like, listen, I'm going to be infantry, fuck it. And then people that are like, well, I mean, all Marines do Marine Corps shit. So even if you're admin, you still have a gun, right? I don't know the fucking difference. Mostly because your recruiter fucking lied to you. But, you get there and you're like, wait a minute. I don't have a gun. I have a fucking typewriter. Why don't we have laptops? But yeah, no, like when I
get a laptop, why does my laptop have Windows 95 on it?
Yeah, but like when I joined, it's like combat camera. Well, it's got the word combat in it, so I would still do combat shit. Luckily, I fucking lucked out, because combat camera is kind of a weird MOS. So like the way I would break it down is 15% of combat camera is in a platoon, and then 85% of combat camera is in a fucking shop. Yeah. 85%. I spent like my first fucking 6 years in the actually do shit. Like I'm not saying, well, I'm basically a grunt, but it's like, well, I mean, I had a fucking combat action ribbon when I was fucking 20 years old. So I mean,
combat camera is a weird MOS, dude. But like in my experience with combat camera guys, there's two kind of combat camera guys. There's like the D&D guy, and then there's like the normal functioning person. And I would say that an overwhelming majority of the combat camera guys I met were like the D&D nerdy kid, and that just didn't have any social skills. Fucking good with a camera, but like no social skills. And they're the kind of person that you have to like grab them and put them behind something so they don't get shot. But
all right,
that's not a hit on you. I'm just saying
I'm not taking it as a hit on me, because I will say that I'll go again with a 1585 fucking percentile. Fucking like guys that they're doing were pogues, but grew up in an infantry fucking platoon. They're pogues in the sense that your radio operator is a pogue.
Yeah.
And then you have might as well be fucking admin most of the MOS.
they're a pogue in the sense that a corpsman is technically a pogue, right?
Yeah, yeah. But again, small, 15% of them. The rest of them, like, dude, you're admin. Shut up.
You get credit for being there. That's the way it works. Like it's same with engineers, right? Combat engineers. Um, people could say combat engineers are pogues, right? Technically, but the combat engineers that I worked with were just as handy in a gunfight as any other 0311 in the platoon.
Yeah.
Right. Same fucking shit. But I mean, like the weird combat camera guys with no like they were there not as combat camera, but as like fucking cameramen. And it's like, dude, you can't stand up while they're shooting RPGs at us because you're telling them where to shoot RPGs at. Stop.
Yeah.
Please, talk with the rest of us.
So I'm going to date myself a little bit here. But I remember, I think it was my second or third fucking firefight. And I think we're in Nowzad, and you know, shit's popping off, and I'm like, all right, cool, fucking ball, whatever. And then my vehicle commander is like, hey, I need pictures for fucking MySpace. Put the fucking rifle down and start taking pics. And I'm like, click. Are you fucking at? Not Facebook, MySpace.
Yeah, I had MySpace my first. It was before Facebook was cool. My first deployment was early 2008, so it's like right before it started getting cool in MySpace. But I was close to it. So like I can look it up on YouTube.
I'm sorry, dude. You're like really fucking broken up right now. I don't know if that's on my end or your end.
Can you hear me now?
I heard. Can I hear me now? Super pixelated. Hello?
Yeah, my internet shit.
I don't know. One of us is. I'm not saying it's you. It might be me because I'm out in the fucking sticks too.
Let me check.
I can hear stuff going on.
Yeah, my internet is shitting the bed.
Oh, that sucks.
So probably a good point to be cut off before you lose me completely.
Yeah, we're about out of that time anyway. But while we're on that, thank you very much for fucking being on. I had a good time conversing with you, and I know the internet's kind of shitty, but if you want to plug yourself real quick.
I mean, most of these people, like, they probably already know from Funker 530, and you know, all the other shit I work on, Ready Man and Bad Cams, and they want to follow me on Instagram, they can just type Funker 530 Josh and find me there. And then, you know, my personal Facebook page. So that.
That and they should read Black Flags Rising because that was a really good short story.
Whatever.
Actually, real quick on that, do I have to buy that book to read that, or is there somewhere that you could just read that short story without getting the whole shebang with it?
No. So right now it's only published in Black Flags Rising, but if you have Amazon Prime, you can read Fragments of America for free on Kindle.
Nice.
So, and we still get paid like per page view or whatever through that. Yeah. So you can read it for free with that, or you can just get it on Kindle. There's a bunch of other really good stories in there as well, though, too. George Grimm is one of the other first-time writers, and his story is really well done. And then there's some vets from the space in there, too, like Lloyd Craven is in there, Lisa Akers is in there. Of course, you got Jason and Jeff. So, I mean, there's a lot of experienced writers in there that are probably leaps bounds ahead of where I am as far as the writing space goes. Because these are people that have been making full-time at it for a minute. So
yeah. And for people watching this on YouTube later, or I guess on Twitch or Facebook now, fucking here's the book. Fucking good read. Well, I don't know about the whole thing, but I can vouch for the first 200 pages.
And it's actually based off of my story as well. So.
Yeah, so there you go. It's all fucking there, and I'll read. I'm going to read the rest of this. But I just wanted to make sure that I had that one done for tonight because I don't want to be like, yeah, no, I'm going to have you on. And then, no, I didn't read your stuff. I'm an asshole.
I think the part of writing all of that for me was when I was actually able to get down and gritty into the action. And there's a couple of notes. There was a couple of like T-C scenes, like combat the under fire scenes where they were like doing trauma medicine while being shot at. Those are fun to write for me. So
all right,
I think
well, fuck it.
If you like reading,
I will check those out, and then everybody watching or hearing this now also check those out.
All right.
Yep. Hey man, you have a good night. You have a good weekend, and we'll continue the fucking meme exchange.
Oh yeah, great. I love it. All right,
all right, see you, dude.